Hi, hello, I'm Jaye from Selios Cosplay, and I'm here today to talk to you about quite an important topic I find, and that is about the health and safety and care and use of coloured contact lenses. Now, I'm a long time contact lens user. I have been wearing contact lenses since I was in primary school because I used to play a lot of sports. And when I started cosplaying, it was quite an easy transition for me, but I'm aware that that's not always the case for everybody else. So I'm here today to talk to you about the do's, the don'ts, how to handle your lenses when they've came straight out of the box, how to pop them in, how to take them out, things like that, everything that you would need to know to get yourself started with wearing some coloured contact lenses for cosplay. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. When your contact lenses arrive, they will arrive packaged in sort of one of two ways. One of the ways in which they're packaged is in these little bottles. Now these have contact lens solution in them, and the lens just sort of floats around in there and minds its own business, and then it's labelled on the top with the prescription and what the lens is. The other way, they'll come sort of packaged in this like little square here, and when you open it up, they'll come in these sort of flat tabby foily things, basically in which you will peel back and the lens is in there floating in this little solution and just having a grand old time. Now these are both the common ways of doing it. A lot of the lenses that you'll get from an optician's will come in a case like this. I've never seen optician's lenses come in a bottle. So a lot of them come in this sort of style, but you'll also probably have to get used to dealing with a bottle like this too. Now when you get your lenses in the post, straight out of the box, they've come in either of these two like ways of travel, and now you're going, now what the heck do I do with them? Now what we are going to do first is we are going to soak them in some contact lens solution. Contact lens solution is all-purpose saline solution that is basically going to keep your lenses clean. Now this is insanely important. We will get a little bit more into the do's and don'ts and things later. You should only be storing your contacts in saline solution, not tap water, not soap and water. Don't do anything crazy like that. Saline solution only. You can buy this stuff from most supermarkets now. Obviously you can get it from an optician if you would prefer like professional level things. But this one is from Asda. We also use Tesco's, and we've never had any real problems with our eyes. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take your contact lens solution and a fresh, clean case. Now most companies will send these to you for free with your lenses to keep them clean. They'll say which side is left and right. And what you're going to want to do is just unscrew this little lid, take your lens solution, and then you're going to very carefully fill up the little compartment, not all the way to the top or else you'll have spillage, but just fill it up enough that your lens will be able to float in it very happily. And that's what's going to clean your lenses. What's really important to do when your lenses come in is to soak them for a minimum, ideally, of like 4 to 6 hours, but really what you should be soaking them for is overnight or for 24 hours. And this is just going to make sure that it gets rid of anything that's potentially on them. The solution that they are stored in is wonderful for storing them and prolonging them, but it's not great for cleaning them. So what we're going to do is essentially disinfect them in our own saline solution so that they're nice and clean to go in our eyes. Now that our cases are nice and full with contact lens solution, now we need to actually remove the lenses from their packaging. We're going to start with the easier one because this is just a matter of peeling back ever so gently, making sure that we don't launch our contact lens onto the floor, because that would be really bad. You will end up with contact lens solution everywhere. And what I tend to do with clean hands, make sure your hands are clean, with clean hands. I cannot stress enough that you should not be handling contact lenses without washing your hands first. With soap, very thoroughly. Because if your hands are dirty, you're putting that in your eye, and that causes infections, and then that causes you to lose your vision, and we don't want that. So with clean hands, and what I like to do is just with my little pinky, I'm going to essentially dip it into this little puddle of solution until the lens latches onto my finger. If it doesn't want to latch onto your finger directly like so, then you can do like a very, very gentle pinch. And then what we're going to do with, again, our clean hands is carefully pinch the lens off our finger so that we've got a hold of it like that. And then we are going to take our nice, lovely clean case with our lovely clean solution, and we are just going to ever so gently plop her in. And that means that it can float away, it can get itself clean, and it can just have a wonderful, wonderful time. And obviously make sure to actually put the lid on the solution, or else your solution's going to evaporate and then it's not going to be any use to anybody. So now that's nice and tightly secured, it's got our clean solution in it, it's got our clean lenses in it, and now these guys can sit and just do their thing for the next, oh well, overnight, 24 hours. These are actually going to sit until we need them. So that can be in a few days, that can be in a few weeks, but we know that they're going to be clean when we actually come to use them. For our second way of our lenses coming prepared and packaged for us, the little bottles are a little bit harder to get into, just because this actually involves having to peel the, like, you'll see, pull that top. It's a little bit like a pull ring on like a can. You're just going to want to pop that top off, pull this sort of like metally bit back. Now please be really careful with these like metal seals, because they do get quite sharp when you've ripped them. Same way that like a tin can is quite sharp once you've used a can opener and things, just be really careful with these edges. But what you tend to do is just snap that bit off, and then ever so carefully you can peel these guys off. Talk about keeping things secure, am I right? Now you're left with essentially a bottle with a little rubber seal, which just pops off super, super easily. And now you're wondering, hey, this bottle's tiny. How do I get this out of here? Well, again, our good friend, the Clean Pinky, is gonna just dip in there, and it's just gonna sort of try and coax our lens up the side so they can get a hold of it. And then once they've got a hold of it, they can just pull her out. This method isn't easy, and it does take a little bit of fiddling to get used to, but once you've got it, you've got it. Now the other way of extracting these from the bottles, because I understand that I have quite small pinky fingers and not everybody does, and that means that you might not actually be able to get your fingers inside the bottle, or you might be scared about tearing them, which is a super valid like concern to have. A lot of contact lens companies will send these little travel cases with you. They come with these tiny little pairs of tweezers, and these are very special. Do not use your like standard metal tweezers on your contact lenses, but these are rubber tipped, and this means these are nice and gentle for being able to handle contact lenses with. And what these are able to do is get into that super narrow bottle and help you just sort of pluck the lens out. And then you can pop it in your case, just the same as you would anything else. So if you are struggling to use your fingers, or like your fingers are on the larger side, a lot of contact lens companies will sell these little, probably not even sell them, a lot of them give them away with the purchase of your lenses. So just use the tiny little tweezers that come with them, and they're going to help you a lot better. But just be really careful not to tear your lenses. Take your little tweezers, and it's kind of like playing a claw machine, but with your lenses. Isn't that fun, guys? Ooh, hello. There we go. Now that our lenses are all happy and they are like soaking away and living their best life, we can move on to the actually how do you place these lenses in your eye, because that is the scary part for most people, and like understandable, because not everyone is used to touching their eyes with their fingers. It's a very, very scary thought. It's quite a process to get used to, but I promise you that once you've sort of done it a couple of times, you do get a feel for it. Your eyes become a lot more used to being touched, and then it becomes a lot easier and a lot faster the more that you practice and the more that you do it. So a little bit of a eye touchy warning. If you're not super happy with the idea of watching that, you can skip ahead to this time and it you'll be done. I won't be touching my eye anymore, you'll be good. So if you don't want to watch eye touchy business, skip ahead. So when I was taught how to pop my lenses in, because I was taught by an actual optician, the way that I was taught to open my eye to prepare for either to put a lens in my eye or remove a lens is to very, very gently lift your eyelid up with a finger. Usually your middle finger is going to be the best one, and then pull your lower lash line down with your other middle finger, because this is a two-hand job, I'm afraid. Now, to pop a lens in, the best thing to do is to prepare your lens by having it already on your finger and just sort of sat ready to go, so that when you're in this position and you're ready to try and pop it in, you can sort of just boop and like pop it in that way. You might find that your eye is trying to roll off somewhere else because it doesn't like the idea of watching your finger. That's okay. A lens will adjust once your eye sort of like focuses back again. Lenses do tend to settle where they're supposed to be. So don't stress, just keep practicing, don't stress yourself out, like honestly, it's fine. And then to remove a lens, you get yourself into the same position again, but rather than having something on this finger, you're going to want to do like a really gentle pinching motion. This can seem really weird, and it's really like a strange idea to essentially be pinching your eye. But what you're essentially doing is, rather than pinching, you're sort of dragging the lens up onto your thumb so that you can get that little bit of a lip so that you can pull it off. When I first started, I found taking out my lenses to be a lot easier than putting in my lenses. So again, just practice, and you'll find yourself becoming more and more comfortable the more that you're doing it. Now, if you are someone who has quite long nails, or like is struggling with the idea of using your fingers, that's okay. To pop your lenses in, again with the little travel cases that we've just talked about, a lot of them come with these little plunger looking tools. And what you can do with that is sort of pick your lens up with the little suctiony cup bit. And then when you've got your eye open, you can use this little plunger to pop that in your eye that way, just so that you're not sort of fumbling with your fingers. And then when it comes to removing them, you can use our little friends, the tweezers that we've just used to take them out of the bottle. And you're essentially using these guys to do the pinching motion. So if you've someone, again, that's got longer nails, or you're really struggling with the idea of having your fingers do the job, you can use these little tweezer tools and such as well. But just get yourself comfortable with it in your own time. Like, these things take some practice to do, and that's okay. And if you're struggling with it and stressing about it, take a breather, take a step back, because you'll find that it's easier to do when you're less panicked about the idea of it. Now, like with anything that's kind of health and safety wise, there is always going to be a list of do's and a list of don'ts that you should keep in mind when doing anything of the sort. And contact lenses aren't any different. There are plenty of things that you need to keep in mind when you are wearing them and when you are using them, whether that's things that you should be doing and things that you should not be doing under any circumstances. And I'm going to talk you through them now, just so that you have like a definitive list of like the do's and don'ts, the boring things, the whatever. But I promise you that this list exists to care for your eyes. These are things that opticians themselves will tell you, and they are the professionals and they know exactly what they are talking about. And whilst I can sit here and tell you about it as someone who's got a lot of experience, I ain't a doctor. So I'm going to listen to what the optician says, and I'm going to make sure that you're doing the same thing too. Now, onto the list of do's. These are things that are good things to keep in mind to make sure that you're doing every time you are popping your lenses in. And that includes things like making sure you are always washing your hands, clean hands. Please only ever handle contact lenses with clean hands. And I mean clean. They should be thoroughly clean, not just like wiped with a wipe. You should be going to the bathroom every single time you need to touch your lenses and wash your hands, because any dirt, anything that is like stuck on your fingers, food, mud, even just like the general wear and tear bacteria that lives in your flesh, if that gets into your eye, that can cause some serious issues. And not only like irritation, which is obviously going to be just uncomfortable for you to deal with, but you could also be dealing with things like eye infections and just the nastiness that we really don't want to deal with. Like we've talked about with when we're getting our lenses fresh out of the box, you should not be putting lenses into your eyes that have just come out of that storage solution, and therefore you must always soak your lenses for a minimum of 4 to 6 hours before popping them into your eyes. Ideally, like I mentioned earlier, if you can soak them for longer, so you know, overnight, 24 hours, or even days before you're planning to use your lenses, it's going to mean that they sting a lot less when you put them in your eye, and it's also going to be a lot cleaner and a lot nicer for you to use. Do make sure that the solution in your case is clean and topped up, because there's nothing worse than going to check on your lenses to put them in for a costume and finding them dehydrated, and you should not be putting dehydrated lenses into your eyes. So if you keep an eye on your contact lens solution, make sure that, like I say, it's clean. You can easily pop your lenses into a different case temporarily whilst you wash out the case and pop new solution into it, which make sure the solution in there is clean and that there's always enough of it for your lenses, because I don't want to lose, I've spent my money, because I don't want to lose these lenses that I've bought early just because I didn't keep an eye on them and didn't care for them properly. Do keep track of expiry dates. Now, expiry dates on your lenses exist for a reason, and if your contact lens company says that they are monthlies, dailies, or yearlies, then you need to be adhering to those expiry dates. Out of date lenses can cause some serious eye infections and can lead to some serious problems that we really don't want. So make sure you're keeping track of your expiry dates. I mentioned in a previous video that I actually keep mine in my pouch where I store my lenses. I keep a sheet of paper, and that sheet of paper has all of the lenses that I own currently in this pouch and when they are due to go out of date. And that means that I know exactly when to stop wearing these lenses and when they need to go into the bin, because I don't want to risk my eye health just because I want to not buy a new pair of lenses. Just please go buy a new pair of lenses. Do remove any contact lenses from your eyes that are causing irritation. Now, your eyes are not worth the risk just because you want to keep your eyes a different color for a cosplay. We've mentioned this previously in that Leah takes her lens cases with her to cons just for comfort reasons, but if at any point during the day a lens is irritating your eye, it is not worth suffering through just for the sake of photos or the aesthetic. If you're finding that your eyes are irritated, take the lens out immediately. Wash your hands. Please make sure you are washing your hands, and make sure that you're popping them safely into a clean case with clean solution so that you can use them in the future. But just don't suffer through the irritations, because you could be doing a lot more damage to your eye than you might think. And my last do is make sure that you're wearing the right prescription. You can go to the opticians and ask them to check your eye prescription for contact lenses specifically, to make sure that you are in fact wearing the right prescription for your eyes. There is nothing worse than having to strain your eyes. Anybody who wears glasses or contact lenses on the daily basis knows just how headache inducing and how much strain not being able to see properly puts on you, and it's not worth the risk with the aesthetic if you are buying the wrong prescription. It takes no time, it's very little money to go to an optician and ask them to check what vision you need to be seeing at so that you can buy the right prescription for your lenses. I'm a -7 and I will always make sure that I'm buying a -7 because I can't see otherwise, and that's not an enjoyable experience for me or anybody else, and it's just not worth the headache that comes with eye strain. Now on to the really bad, definitely please do not do this ever when it comes to wearing contact lenses. This list exists for really important reasons, and anything that is on this list, like the do's, needs to be adhered to properly because it exists for a reason, for your health. So most importantly on our do not ever do this list is please don't ever, and I mean ever, shower or swim in your contact lenses. So a little known fact about tap water and contact lenses is your everyday drinking tap water contains a bacteria that your eyes don't really like. And it's fine in terms of if you're having a shower obviously without any form of a lens. Like if you get water in your eye, it is not going to harm you. However, if you are wearing a contact lens and water gets underneath your lens and into your eye, that can cause some extremely serious issues, including blindness. Yes, that came directly from my opticians. So please, it is not worth the risk. Do not shower in your contact lenses. Do not swim in your contact lenses, because what's worse than bacteria in tap water for your lenses? Chlorine or salt water. So it's not worth the risk. Just take them out. If you're like me and you can't see, just deal with the blindness. I have adapted very well to not being able to see as my eyesight has gotten worse over the years, and my showers go unaffected. So please just take them out. It's not worth doing. Just getting water anywhere near your contact lenses is just never a good idea in any sense whatsoever. On to our second, absolutely please do not do this ever, is do not sleep in your contact lenses. So when we are asleep, we have no control over what direction our eyes go. Therefore, we have no control over where the contact lens goes when we're asleep, and that can cause the lens to actually go behind your eye. Now, whilst this can happen occasionally just through wear, and it's an extremely scary thing to happen, a lens will come back out after like a period of time, but it is not worth the risk of putting it there in the first place. It's going to dry your lenses out, which is extremely uncomfortable and quite damaging to the lens itself. We don't put dehydrated lenses in our eyes. And it also just leads to the risk of like it escaping, going somewhere else and just causing damage whilst you are asleep. That it's just not worth doing. So please don't fall asleep in your lenses. I understand like naps can happen without us realizing, but if you've got contact lenses in, please just be quite vigilant on when you're actually going to sleep. Please do not ever share contact lens solution or a used case. Now, it is fine if your contact lens solution is coming straight out of a bottle because it's clean and the bottle itself is clean. However, if your friend is offering for you to borrow a contact lens case at con, please just politely say no, because you don't know if that lens case is clean, and the contact lens solution that is in that case has been contaminated by another lens, and we really don't want to be passing like bacteria back and forth between our eyes, because that can lead to some serious infections. You don't know what's going on with somebody else's eyes, and it's not worth the risk to your own eyes. Just take it out. So if somebody else is able to offer you a case, go to the bathroom, give it a good wash, and use clean solution. Wash your hands. Clean solution in a case. Do not, under any circumstances, share contact lens solution in a case with anybody else. It's not good. It's not going to turn out well. Under absolutely no circumstances should a contact lens be going into your eye after it has touched the floor. Now, this might seem like a stupid thing to say, because of course, duh, why would a lens that's been on the floor be safe to put in my eye? You'd be surprised by how many people would try it. It's not worth doing. The floor is so dirty, no matter where you are, whether you're in your own home, whether you're on a convention, outside, it doesn't matter. If the lens has fell out of your eye and has been on the floor, it's gone. It's not worth trying to clean it in a lens case. It isn't worth trying to save. If that lens has touched the floor, it's a goner. Just say your RIPs, say goodbye to that contact lens. It made a valiant effort and made an excellent sacrifice, but it's not going back in your eye, bestie. Please don't. Just don't do it. It's just not. Don't. Going back to keeping an eye on your expiry dates, please do not ever wear expired contact lenses. I have heard way too many horror stories about what happens to people who wear their lenses after their expiry dates, and it usually ends in an A&E visit, because our eyes, you know, they're not meant for this. Like, I could harp on all the time about eye infections damaging your eyes, blah blah blah. People can go blind from these kinds of things. Your eyes are an extremely delicate part of your body, and we just don't need to be pushing that any further than we already do. Please don't wear expired lenses. I mentioned it earlier, I'm gonna mention it again. It's not worth it for the aesthetic. Please just go buy another pair. It's just not worth it. This is probably one of the biggest, most important, and extremely, like, things to keep in mind. Please do not ever, under any circumstances, and I mean any circumstances, please don't wash or soak your contact lenses in tap water. We mentioned it a little bit earlier with the showers, and the water has a bacteria that doesn't like contact lenses very much, and if that gets in your eye after interacting with your contact lens, it's going to do some serious damage, including blindness, and we don't want that. We don't want that at all. Tap water will not clean your lenses in the way that you think it will. It's wonderful for cleaning our hands, but it is not great for cleaning the lenses itself, which is why saline solution exists, because it has all the things it needs to keep a contact lens clean. So please, if you don't have contact lens solution on hand, go find somebody who does, or, you know, take the loss. It's gone. Tap water is not your friend when it comes to contact lenses, unless it's to wash your hands. So please, just don't. Keep the tap water away from your contact lenses. You can obviously wash a contact lens case, an empty one out with water and soap. Like, you will need to clean these deeply, but those cases have to be bone dry before you are even considering to put contact lens solution in it for a contact lens. So yeah, just keep the tap water away, please, for the love of everything. This next one is, it's like a don't, but it's like, I get it, but like, whatever. Just don't rub your eye if you're wearing contact lenses. I get it. If it's irritating you, all you want to do is rub your eye to make it feel better, to get the irritation out, to get whatever's under your lens that's irritating your eye. If it's a fact of the lens has moved and it's not settled properly on your eye, you can very, very gently, with clean hands, dab around your eyelid to sort of move the lens ever so gently. And that usually helps it to settle back into position, and you'll usually find that it's a lot better and it feels a lot better. But if your eye is irritated, take the lens out. If the gentle pushing of your eyelid with a finger isn't helping the irritation, the lens needs to come out. Just don't, I get it, all you want to do all the time is just rub your face and rub your eyes to make it feel better. What that's going to do is push the lens further back on your eye than you want to, and it can again go behind. And there's nothing worse, and it hurts, and it's really scary to have a lens go behind your eye, and rubbing it is going to be the #1 cause of a lens escaping to the back of your eye. Like I've said, it will come out in its own time, but it's an extremely scary experience, and it hurts, and you have to blink repeatedly to try and get it to come out the corner. Just don't rub your eye, just avoid it. Do not put your contact lens in after you have applied makeup to your eyes. Now, we're cosplayers, and makeup is what we do as part of our hobby. I get it. And sometimes we are wearing whiteout lenses, we're wearing mesh lenses, we're wearing lenses that are quite hard to see out of, which makes doing your makeup not necessarily impossible, but, you know, a little bit on the trickier side when you can't really see what you're doing and you're applying makeup. I get it. I completely get it. However, makeup being around your eye when you're putting in a contact lens is a bad idea for 2 reasons. On a more vain, like, selfish level, I can ruin my makeup because eyes water and solution drips, and you could have put all this hard work into doing your makeup, put your lens in your eye, and it runs everywhere. And you've just wasted all that time by doing it. But in a more health and safety way, you then risk putting makeup in your eye whilst you're doing the lenses. Because you are pulling at your eyelids to actually put the lens in your eye, what's to say that you're not going to smudge it onto your fingers, which obviously you want to be clean. It's contaminating the lens, it's getting in your eye, it just isn't worth doing it. The other side to this is if you absolutely must put your lenses in after applying the majority of your makeup, do it before you finish your eye makeup. The areas where you're going to need to be touching to put your lenses in, just don't do those yet. If you can have a friend do those parts of your makeup for you, if you can't see, great. If you can see well enough that you can do those finishing touches, great. But if you can avoid having the makeup specifically around your eyes whilst you put the lenses in, then you can do it that way. But as a rule, just really try and avoid, like really try and avoid putting your lenses in after you've done your makeup, because it's just a contamination risk waiting to happen. And finally, in our don'ts, because there's a lot of don'ts, please do not rehydrate dehydrated lenses. I get it, we all get it, when you've gone to wear your lenses and they have a little dried up husk in the bottom of the case, all you want to do is just squirt some fresh solution in there to give them a bit more life so that you can wear them again. I get it. We all want to just wear our lenses rather than buying new ones. But once your lens is dehydrated, it is no longer the same as it was beforehand. You can do significant damage to your eye because the amount of bacteria that can get into a lens whilst there is no contact solution there to protect it is unreal. So all you're doing is probably causing yourself further irritation. There could be now dirt or anything now inside that lens that you now can't get out. And there's probably bacteria and things that are just going to cause a lot of issues. It's just not worth it. Same as with expired lenses, just please go buy yourself a new pair. It's really annoying. But if you keep your lens case topped up with clean solution, then you won't have this issue. So, you know, just take the time, keep an eye on your lenses, and it's going to be a much safer and happier process for everybody involved. Hello, this is Editing Jaye. I didn't mention this in the video when I filmed it, but actually I have another don't that's really quite important that I learned the hard way. So don't wear your lenses for like too long of a period or like too frequently. It's fine for like a convention weekend, it's fine like for a day or 2 days or whatever. But as someone who used to be a daily contact lens wearer, it actually cuts the oxygen off to your eye, which causes really bad bloodshotting, and that's really unhealthy for your eye and causes a lot of problems, including growth over the lens of your eye. So yeah, just be careful, I guess, of how long you're actually wearing your lenses for, because yeah, your eyes need to be able to breathe, and if you're not giving your eyes a chance to breathe, then they're gonna like really cause issues. So PSA from Editing Jaye, because I apparently just completely forgot that when I was making this video. So, mwah. And that's sort of it for like the do's and don'ts. Like, it sounds like a really harsh list, and it's a lot of big scary, you're gonna lose your eyesight, you're gonna cause some serious damage, blah, 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 blah. But that's because it's true, and we don't want to lose our eyes for the sake of aesthetics. So if you have any concerns or questions, or heck, just go speak to your optician anyway, because they are the professionals. They are who's going to get you your prescription so that you know what you need to be putting in your eyes. They are going to talk you through everything that you need to know about the process of wearing contact lenses. And they're also going to be able to tell you if contact lenses are in fact a thing that you could wear, because everybody's eyes are different, and you know, the sad reality of it is that your eyes just might not be suited for contact lenses. And we would much rather go to the opticians and be told that by a professional than buying a pair of coloured contact lenses online and finding out the hard way. So just speak to your opticians. They are the people to go to. They are the experts. And the other thing is that when you are buying coloured contact lenses for your cosplays, please, please, please use brands that are established and that people vouch for. You'll hear the community talk about where they get their favourite lenses from, and you should probably keep it to those brands. A lot of these companies have spent a lot of years making sure that they are doing the process properly, and that they are usually really, really reliable. So keep it to those companies. Please do not buy contact lenses from Shein. Just no, no. I've never heard of a worse thing in my life than Shein selling contact lenses. That is not a safe brand. I don't care how cheap they are. Don't you dare put those in your eyes. Just make sure that the brands that you're using are ones that know what they're doing and know what they're talking about. We have listed our favorite brands in the description for you so that you can see like where we get our lenses from. These are companies that we vouch for and we use very, very often. And we've also included any discount codes that we hold with certain companies so that you can have a little bit of money knocked off too. So just check the description below and choose which one's going to suit you better. And that's it from me. I know it's a little bit of a do not do this, do not do that, do this, do that, do that sort of video, but these sorts of things are really important, and I hear every day from people that have been wearing contact lenses for a while that then turn around and tell me that they still shower in them, and I am horrified. So just please, this health and safety is here for a reason, and we just don't want you to have any issues or cause yourself any damage just whilst you're trying to have fun. And with that, thank you very much for joining me today. I really appreciate having you here. If you're not already and you would like to be, please consider subscribing. We make videos on cosplay how-tos, getting into cosplay, tips, tricks, hacks, anything like that, CMVs, skits, anything cosplay that you can think of. We're probably going to make it on this channel, so keep an eye out, and thank you very much. Like this video if you haven't already. It helps us know what kind of content that you like to see, and why not leave a comment telling us about your favorite contact lens brands, any contact lens tips that I haven't mentioned today that actually maybe could be helpful for people in the future, or even just what your favorite contact lenses are to use, because I'm quite fond of cat eye lenses. They look really quite cool. And with that, thank you very much, guys. I love you to pieces, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. I'm making such a mess, it's unreal. Clean. Ooh, dear.